In this video, I'm going over social cognition and social inhibition. Now, we all know what inhibition is. Do you tend to hold back and be more reserved socially, or do you tend to let everything out and act uninhibited? I'll explain social cognition in a bit. There are two context-dependent components of RIS that I'm going to touch on briefly. One is cultural assimilation. To have RIS, you need to know what kinds of social customs people expect, what's polite and what's rude, which can differ between cultures. Number two is your contextual knowledge. It's going to be pretty hard to contribute to a conversation if you know nothing about what the other people are talking about. By social cognition, I'm referring to all of the mental processes that are involved in social interaction. Social skills are a subset of social cognition. Culture overlaps with this, as the set of social skills that you need to be socially successful isn't exactly the same in every culture. Your social cognition includes your ability to go along with the flow of a conversation, to be able to read the room, to be able to perceive and understand how other people are feeling, the ability to read people's intentions, your sense of humor, your wit, and your processing speed, having the ability to quickly understand what other people are saying and to quickly generate responses, which is really important in group settings. So social cognition includes social skills that can be trained, as well as things that you do not have as much control over. Your social cognition is affected by your neurotypicality, your mental state, your mood, your past experiences, your personality traits, what you like, what you dislike, what your tendencies are, your brain development, your age, and substances like alcohol. If you have high social cognition, you can get away with having low inhibition because you know what to do. If you think of something to say, chances are it's pretty good. You're not likely to make social mistakes. And even if you do, it's not that bad because you know how to recover from it. You know how to play it off. On the contrary, people who have poor social cognition are going to need to lean towards thinking before you speak, not speaking unless you're really sure that what you're about to say is a good idea, because you're prone to making social mistakes. So it helps to have higher inhibition. Here's a chart with social inhibition on the horizontal axis and social cognition on the vertical axis. The plane is split into 4 quadrants that each represent a social archetype. So the ideal is low social inhibition and very good social cognition, which is the life of the party. If you have good social cognition but you're high inhibition, then you have hidden charisma. You talk less, you're more reserved, you plan your moves carefully, you possess solid social abilities. But if your inhib is very high, you have a barrier to the execution of your abilities. Low social cognition and low social inhibition makes you the social buffoon. You say whatever's on your mind, you do whatever you feel like doing, but what you say and do are quite socially uncalibrated. If you have low social cognition and you have high social inhibition, then that makes you the quiet kid archetype. So you have bad social skills, but you keep that to yourself, so you're not really broadcasting your poor social cognition to everyone else. So far, we've been talking about inhibition very generally as a one-dimensional trait, but we can divide inhibition into 2 kinds of inhibition. You have the prefrontal cortex variety of social inhibition and the amygdala variety of social inhibition. Now, both these parts of the brain play roles in social cognition, so this dichotomy is not exactly accurate and it's oversimplified, so don't focus on the brain parts, just think of them as labels I'm using to distinguish between 2 flavors of social inhibition. If you have high inhib and that inhib is coming from the prefrontal cortex, what that looks like is you'll come across as serious as opposed to spontaneous and carefree. You'll be emotionally stable and have rather subdued reactions, and you're deliberative. You think things through. You refrain from making impulse decisions. On the other hand, the amygdala flavor of social inhibition is that social anxiety type of high inhib. Having a lot of PFC social inhib isn't necessarily a negative, but high amygdala social inhib almost always is a disadvantage for socializing. 2 archetypes of people who have low amygdala inhib are the party animal and the sigma male. The party animal also has low PFC inhib, and that makes him spontaneous, wild, bombastic, and over the top, whereas the sigma male is more subdued. He plans his moves carefully, but he is socially fearless. He's not nervous at parties, he's not scared of talking to women because he has high PFC inhib but low amygdala inhib. While generally you want your amygdala social inhib to be as low as possible, you want to have some amount of PFC inhib. Have you ever seen these cop body cam videos of people getting arrested and doing some pretty stupid things around the police rather than keeping their cool and just being respectful to the cops? That's because their PFC inhibition in these moments were extremely low. Finally, the effects of alcohol. Alcohol reduces your amygdala amygdala-based social inhib. This is the outcome people are looking for when they drink alcohol socially. If you drink more alcohol, it will also lower your PFC-based inhib, and that leads people to make irresponsible or impulsive decisions and say things they regret when they're drunk. If you drink even higher doses of alcohol, that will also reduce your social cognition. So most people who drink know that there is a sweet spot, and there comes a point after which drinking even more amounts of alcohol decreases your social performance more than it helps.